Hi there, welcome back to the Ginescast. I'm your host, Gina.annunziato. Thank you so much for joining me. Well, all the interviews that I had set up kind of fell through, so I guess you're just stuck with some ramblings here and there, just once again. Either way, I'm very glad that you're listening, and I hope that you're enjoying what we're doing here so far. Structure is always a good thing, but consistency for me is the hardest part, so at least getting some thoughts out there is very important to me, and I'm glad that you're along for the ride. So with that, please sit back and enjoy the Ginescast number 27, I Deserve This. Something seems to happen to me around this time of year. I turn into a negative Nancy, a sour Sally, a grumpy Gertrude. You see where I'm going here. The final few months of any given year are always rainy and gross in New York City. The garbage I saw spewed all over a rainy sidewalk during my morning cab ride really affirmed how gross this place can be sometimes. When it snows, it's fine and it's pretty, but it's only during the initial snowfall, and then you get the plows that just spew up all the gross crap on the side of the street, and you step in giant puddles, and even your rain boots can't handle them. It's kind of bad, but that's what I get for living on the East Coast. Does it get worse before it gets better? I tell myself this all the time, but I don't know how much I actually believe it, because I always wonder just how bad things could get. Things could obviously be terrible, situationally terrible, emotionally terrible, all sorts of terrible. But for me personally, right now, there is more good than bad in my life. I fully admit that. But I don't feel it. So what exactly is preventing me from seeing it? Why am I willingly paying attention to things that I know are not good for my spirit or my soul? I think a lot of the time what we see here in society is a rewarding of stupidity. People are seemingly elevated to levels of notoriety and heaped praise and understanding, but they're not really offering anything of value. What we get instead is failure after failure, or stumble and fall after stumble and fall. But at least people are paying attention to them. What I'm wrestling with right now in my life, as it stands right now, is this base note of attention. Maybe it's the only child in me, but I have trouble with feeling like I'm not given the attention I deserve. This is something that's affected my adult relationships, I think. Because I think I'm worth more than my value. So all your time and energy has to be focused just on me. And that obviously cannot be. I know that, and I'm paying for it today. But what are we deserved? Do we deserve attention? Especially only if we think we're contributing enough to warrant a platform? Do we deserve respect? Especially if we're not offering it to anyone else? Do we deserve love when we cannot love ourselves? Everything seems just so confusing for me lately because I feel like I have no place. I used to think that I affect everything I come in contact with, that my timing was somehow magical, and I had a profound effect on whatever I wished I would. I don't think that anymore. And maybe it was something about passing my half-birthday in October, but I realize now just how full of shit that kind of thinking is. I exist. You exist. And it's not going to do me a world of good to treat anyone else better or worse than myself simply because they exist as well. I was always taught not to be in awe of someone, never to be a bootlicking toady to someone in quote-unquote power. You don't want to do that ever, especially if there's someone who likes to dangle a reward in front of you. I've never really understood people who are comfortable with taking from another person without giving back in some reciprocal way. And it astounds me that people are just willing to give without wanting anything back. Providing content and value is one thing, but just being rewarded and ass patted just for existing, that's a whole other bag. Why should I deserve something when I haven't put in a day's work to achieve it? And this is kind of where these podcasts come in. I feel very low energy and low effort with them lately. I enjoy doing them. It's always good to get my thoughts out there. But I feel maybe I would deserve the viewership if I actually put more effort into them. If I got these interviews, if I was able to talk with more people. Maybe it's just not in the cards right now, but I do want you to know that this is where I've been thinking and what I've been thinking about. Because I do enjoy doing these, and I don't want you to think that these are just a burden for me. What do I deserve? What do you deserve? I really don't know. And maybe this is just me embracing my inner nihilist these days because so many things have slipped through my fingers. I'm starting to wonder what even is the point of anything anymore. You live, you die, you hopefully had a nice time. And what you don't accomplish in this lifetime, maybe you'll receive it in the next. I really don't know anymore, but I do know that I don't like thinking this way 24/7 like I have been. It's one thing to sort out how you feel about a certain subject or just one of the myriad feelings that we feel throughout any given day. And it is a whole other thing to kind of sort out when it's appropriate to feel the thing. There's so much of this, yeah, well, I say what's on my mind whenever I want to. That's that. Respect me for it. And people do. I know I've talked about this ad nauseum, but there's no pausing before we speak. You'll see people on the internet sphere, they'll just say what's on their minds. They'll just flip on the video camera and say, here's some thoughts I had without really thinking about what they're putting out to the internet forever. We'll say what's on our minds with no filter and we'll get a pat on the back for being so brave, for speaking up, even if you're being a dick at someone else's expense. We're expected to be praised and lauded for simply being ourselves in a culture that in some way tells us we can't be? I must be missing this. I must completely be a fucking moron sometimes, but in what world do we live in that we can't quote unquote be ourselves? It's like you're gonna find people who really, really like you for doing your thing, but you're also gonna find those people who really, really don't like you for doing your thing. Why do you let the naysayers dictate you being yourself or whatnot? I don't really understand this. I don't understand these mindsets that we have. This internet culture that's breeding a whole bunch of just terrible people and elevating them to platforms where they become influencers. They're the ones wielding all the power, getting all the money, getting all the responsibility and the deals and offers. But they're not very good people, are they? They're not very nice people. They're people who are being taken down a peg the more people find out their bullshit. They're the people who are themselves, and every time that the haters come at them, they hand it right back to them. Just them, not the people who got them to where they are, though. They hand it right back. They clap back. They don't let the haters win. But sometimes, despite all your efforts saying that you don't deserve all the crap people fling at you, perhaps you do, in some respect, when you cultivate a culture of this awful, toxic, sorry for that word, but toxic behavior, and you stick yourself right in the middle of it. In the year of accountability, everyone will get theirs, and that includes me. Maybe I do deserve some of the confusion I'm going through right now. Maybe I'm living my life too much in the state of figuring it out. Because how can you figure any of it out? Once you think you've got it, something else will crop up that will make you stumble and fall, perhaps. Life can really be a mess, but it's up to you to be brave and stand up and pick the pieces up one by one, if not for anybody but yourself, first and foremost. There's always ways to climb out. There's always ways to get out of the confusion. And maybe if I stop trying too hard to do that, I'll find that a well-deserved break from all the bullshit is closer than I think. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Ginescast. It's very helpful for me to act out my words that I've written down and kind of go off script here and there, because it's just the ranting aspect of things that is kind of coming back. Maybe not in a super humorous way as it used to be, but I'm 32 and a half now. I've got to not, be this little angry 24-year-old Giants anymore. I can't do it. But these casts are very enjoyable for me. They're very helpful for me, and I hope that you enjoy them too. And I hope that one day I can figure it out. I guess I just hope I find my footing and hope I can find that hook that will get me to where I need to be, wherever that may be. I don't know. The Giants Cast comes out every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you like this cast, please give it a like. Please leave me a comment below or share it with someone that you think would like it. If you want more from me, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and SoundCloud at HelloGines, or shoot me an email at gina.annunziato@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Ginescast. I'm your host, Gina Annunziato, and I'll see you next time. Take care.